This video could be the most helpful, most practical one you watch today if you're on a tight budget and you just want to spend less on your groceries. See, what I'm going to share with you is 6 simple food swaps that I've made, and if you make all of these right now, you could reduce your grocery spend by as much as 20% in the next month. Now, number 6 on this list is the big game changer in my experience, especially if you have kids. We'll get to that one very soon, but first, let's begin at the beginning. Number 1. So the first simple swap that I've made is buying whole chicken instead of diced. I used to buy chicken fillets all the time because I thought that was the easiest, most convenient option, and to be fair, it probably was, but it also happens probably to be the most expensive way to get hold of your chicken. When I realized that and how many different meals I could get just by roasting one whole chicken instead, I really haven't looked back, and I have saved a ton of money. So the principle in general here is to avoid as much as possible any kind of meat that has been cut up for you, because the more processed it is, typically the more you're going to pay for it. Number 2. So for number 2, the same principle applies really, and that is buying block cheese instead of shredded. Yet again, when you pay someone else to do that work for you, you are typically going to pay a lot. And seriously, most of us can probably find a way to grate our own cheese, right? Unless for some weird reason you're grating like an industrial volume of the stuff. And as a side note, there's a lot of weird ingredients that go into shredded cheese, basically to stop it from kind of going gooey and disgusting when it's sitting on a shelf. So if you don't want all that stuff in your body and you do want to cut your costs, then just stick to the block instead. Number 3. This is yet another one of those convenience traps. Instead of bag salad, buy a whole lettuce. I fell into this trap so much when I was younger, and I can't really understand why I kept doing it. It is super expensive, and I was constantly throwing half a bag of this like green mulchy muck in the bin because it just doesn't last. So if you want proof on this, just take a moment, pause this video, go check out the prices. I've just had a quick look online here, and the bag stuff where I live is around about $15 a kilo. Okay? A couple of cos lettuces, on the other hand, more like $6 a kilo. And that's why I stopped buying the bag salads at least 3 years back. It saved me a lot of money, and if you want to cut your grocery budget too, this, I would say, is an absolute must. Number 4. So 1 to 3 were all about how we've cut out that convenience tax and stopped paying other people basically to do things that we can easily do ourselves. But number 4 then is more about how I've changed my perceptions, I guess, of the taste or the quality of certain things, like frozen berries instead of fresh. Now, obviously, this depends a lot on how you're going to consume them. We do still buy fresh berries for certain occasions, but one really good way that I've found to get some extra vitamins and extra nutrients into our diet quickly is through smoothies, and that's where frozen berries kind of really come into their own. They're great value. They obviously last a long time in your freezer, and they're going to give you this really nice texture in a smoothie that you don't get from fresh berries. Number 5. This one perhaps a little bit more niche, but it will still save you a lot of money. Swapping out something like sour cream and replacing it with natural yogurt instead. Probably about 10 to 12 cents per ounce in the US. And once we got over, I guess, the slightly different flavor, which to be honest really wasn't that difficult, we were totally fine using it in all sorts of different meals. Curries, we have it on the side with chili, baked potatoes, pancakes, on and on and on it goes. And we use it for desserts as well. If you've checked out any of my other videos, there's a good chance you've heard me talk about natural yogurt with a bit of honey and some peanut butter, which my kids absolutely love. So you will get loads of different uses out of it. And if you're like me, you'll find you're not throwing out half-used, moldy little pots of other random creams that you've just discovered at the back of the fridge, which of course is more money saved too. Number 6. Okay, so for number 6, I'm wrapping up the list with a food swap that I believe has transformed our grocery budget for the better. A big claim, I know, and it is swapping pre-packaged snacks for homemade versions. If you have young children and you need to get them ready in the morning, you will know what I mean when I say it is hectic, to say the least. So grabbing a packet of something or a bar and throwing it in a lunchbox while you're trying to get brekkie inside them and also work out where on earth they put their school clothes when they took them off the day before, it sounds like a very practical option indeed. And I'm not judging anybody who does that, but I want to stick to the economics of it. I'll give you an example. I saw a multi-pack of some kind of little rice crackers this week. It was on a shelf that actually had lunchbox written above it. $10, okay, for the whole thing. But the unit price was $5.30 per 100 grams. Ladies and gentlemen, that is, in my opinion, staggeringly expensive. So if you want to cut your costs, if you are on a super tight budget, avoid this stuff like the plague. We have got ourselves a few simple little recipes for things like granola and trail mix and brownies and muffins, all homemade, and the cost per serve is around 20 to 30 cents. And on top of that, it cuts out putting synthetic stabilizers and emulsifiers and thickeners or anything else that came out of a lab into our bodies, which you might agree with me is a pretty solid long-term strategy. You got to go and give these food swaps a shot on your next grocery trip, folks, and let me know how you get on in the comments. How much money are you saving, and what other swaps have you made to cut your costs? Give us a thumbs up if you like this one, and check out this video if, well, you like spending less of your money on crappy food that's bad for you and bad for your bank balance.